welcome back. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, comment, share, watch. You know what? Just actually go directly to the channel, start at the top, and just play the whole thing. Play it in your sleep, play it in your car, play it in traffic. Just play it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by this year, honoring my hard work for getting my LLC, and also to fund all of the amazing things that I have planned for my BBW space within Melanin Madam. Ready? Oh, child. It's hot in Cali already. Can you believe it? This is a mess. Well, I guess not already, right? What is it, June? Okay, so let's toast in the beginning because I'll probably forget it in the end. So let's see. Let's toast to being respective of women, right? So I'm not going to get too deep. I'm going to go really fast because this is going to be a two-part thing. Today I'll be a little bit light. The next one I'm going in. What I would like to toast to is my womb and my vagina. If you are not a woman or a female, you do not have a womb and you do not have a vagina. So dear Mr. Politician people, I need you to stop saying what women can do with their vagina or what comes out of it, because we all know that you'll pass these laws and you're the main one that'll break it. Let's just say that. Then, or number two, you know, the men that are posting and saying that they are pregnant and, oh, it's so cute. Your name used to be Becky or Rasputia or Ming or whomever, but it was never John on your birth certificate. So let's just not be disrespectful to women and what we actually go through to be women. Let's toast to that. That being said, let's get this makeup started so I can get to my cousin's swim party. Happy birthday, Kiki. I love you. With my whole, let's see, with my whole dimple, because it's special. We'll do that. Okay, so all this stuff that I'm seeing, I'm respective of everybody in their space. And if you see yourself as a purple stop sign, I'm absolutely okay with that. I really am. My concern is in the space where specifically women are concerned, right? So women, we all know, we've had to fight for everything since day one, and then somehow, very similar to being African American, somehow everything related to us ended up on some damn ballot, right? So a couple things I want to point out. In being a naturally born female and woman, it is very disrespectful and very insensitive to not acknowledge the value of a born woman and the things that we go through, right? So I'm okay with, you know, you want to, excuse me, these are amazing. I'm okay, again, if you want to live your life as a purple umbrella, right? Here's what I'm not okay with. I'm not okay with the fact that in any of these spaces where people step to say what they are or what they want to be identified as, it includes disrespect. Let me give you an example. I am a woman. I desire to be a mother. I've had some things in that area that have prevented it when I wanted it to happen. And I wanted to be a mom since I was 18, right? But then you have this person, because it's a female that will, you know, transform into a male and then be the one to carry the baby, which I don't understand. Again, a lot of these things, I think that we're a little bit confused. So if my intent is not to step on toes, although I will, because I'm saying what I prefer as a woman, but it's not to be disrespectful. So if there's anything that I say and I don't use the right word or anything like that, I'm not going to research it. But what I am going to tell you at the beginning is that there is no malicious intent at all. And I'm okay with, if you want to go in the comments and say, you know, Asia, you said this way or that way, I'm okay with that. But do not ever attack me, because I will never attack anybody. Okay? Let's start there. But I was in, sorry guys. I was in HR for, that was a chair, not my butt. I was in HR for quite a bit of years. In that space, let's start with medical, okay? In that space, someone, a woman who was not able to become pregnant and needed any type of fertility assistance, there is not coverage. You know, you have to pay out of the pocket for in vitro and things like that, right? Even to just get tested and see if something is medically wrong, those things are not included in medical insurance. But my last year in HR, and this contributed to why it was my last year in HR, I saw it pop up that if I decided to, if I was a male and I decided to become a female, there was benefits made available for that specific thing. Okay? Let me tell you my caveat to that. Very similar to when black people say, I don't want you to treat them like you treat me. I just want you to treat me like you treat them. Okay? This is the same thing. If that is something that is needed because mental health issues, this person sincerely believes that they are, you know, a woman now or a male now, and we can do it, I say go for it. But what I also say is, please stop ignoring Mother Earth and what we sometimes need help with as women to bring a baby forward or to give birth or things like that. Make sure some of those things are covered as well, to show that you care about us. To date, I don't personally feel like the world has shown us that they care about us, right? So why is it that the exceptions are made to ensure that someone who is not naturally born a female is taken care of, but the same concern, the same white glove treatment is not provided to a naturally born female to ensure that she can do what her body told her it should be able to do, and something that absolutely contributes to our mental health as well. Okay? There's not even treatment for postpartum and things like that. But for you to say, as even a female that has now decided to be, not decided, they're they want to be acknowledged as a male, or they identify as a male, and then want the attention that comes with having an outside appearance of a male but being a female. That is mentally disturbing to, you know, some females that are not able to have children, right? And then for those, I also saw something for that science and medical inventions, or whatever word I'm supposed to use, is making something where a male can actually implant a womb so that they can carry a baby. Again, my concern with this is the level of disrespect to a naturally born woman and the mental health issues that are surrounding this particular topic. Because if I was infertile and I'm going into my gynecologist to see what's wrong, and I'm paying for what I need to do, but then I'm seeing somebody next to me that clearly I know, or unclearly, you know, they just maybe say it, was born a male, but they are next to me and they have a womb implanted so that they can carry the child. That is a problem for me, because here's the thing. I feel like when people get to create things, here's what you don't create. You don't create ovarian cancer. You don't create a miscarriage that could happen. You don't have the problem of, possibly being sexually abused, and it ending in or resulting in an unwanted pregnancy, and then a particular law tells you that you have to remain with child. You don't have to deal with the years and years of trying to become impregnated and the mental health that goes along with that, which, by the way, there is no therapy for. You don't have to deal with any of those things. You don't have to deal with the postpartum that can come from a pregnancy, and postpartum is near and dear to my heart because it impacted my grandmother, and she is no longer here. Because you didn't recognize it back then, and it was no big deal. And even still today, I'll hear people say that their baby mama or their wife is acting crazy since she had the baby. Well, there are a lot of things that happen to our bodies after we have a baby, and your body actually doesn't go back into its original state for quite some time. I believe a year. So in all of that, again, the first thought is not care or concern for the actual person that was born a female, nor is there any acknowledgement that you are different. If you want to do those things, or those things are created, again, I don't have so much of a concern with it being done. I have a concern with how it's being done. I have a concern with that it's disrespectful. I have a concern with it hurts my feelings. It hurts my heart, because I am one of the women who is not a mom yet. So I know how that feels. There's not enough care for women in general. And then I feel like it's a little bit insensitive, and it's not okay to say things to a certain class, but this certain class can do sometimes whatever they want without, I don't believe it's malicious intent, but I also don't believe that there is white gloves. I also don't believe that I also don't believe that the care and concern for us is included, right? You won't have to deal with going to the doctor as a woman and being told, you're lazy because you want to take time off from work during your pregnancy, or looked at crazy. You won't be, as a black woman, you won't be challenged with, are you just trying to, take off work? Or when she says, something is wrong, is there going to be any care and concern, or is she going to be overlooked? No, you're going to receive first class treatment, because almost everybody is so afraid to even blink when it has anything to do with these particular topics, because to not agree or not be in support of is frowned upon, and you get attacked. I, on the other hand, I don't care. I don't care because I know who I am. I know my heart. I know that I am not in any way attacking anyone. I am absolutely speaking out as a woman on behalf of women, because it hurts. It just does. And I wonder, are people thinking about these things when they're making these type of decisions? Or are they just wanting, oh, I just want to have this photo shoot, or oh, I want to go viral on social media? I just don't, I don't think that it's okay, because we are real women with real, Okay, I'm back. Excuse me. We are real women with, and I say real, I mean real. You know what I mean. It just is what it is. And when you can't accept the correct terminology for things or how somebody views something, I think that that's not okay. I shouldn't have to sit here and literally be thinking, okay, did I say this the right way? Did I say that the right way? If I am not using derogatory statements and I'm saying how I feel, I shouldn't have to sugarcoat how I feel. Did you think about us before you started doing all of these things? Or, was there any type of consideration for the mental health of the woman, the mental health of the black woman? What resources are not available to us as it stands, or how to address this topic and get what you want out of the situation, as well as um excuse me, as well as being considerate to what we as women are going through. I know that you didn't, because certain people, certain groups in this particular space, all you care about is you don't care about anybody else. You care about what you want. Anybody that doesn't agree is against you. Hate crime information is put out, and all of these things, and it's not fair, and it's not okay for me to have to sit here, and women have been muted since the beginning of time, and for me to have to sit here and literally think about what to say and how to say it because it's important, because nobody else is saying it. I just don't think that that's fair. It's not fair, as a matter of fact. Again, you are not the one that has to deal with the repercussions of things or what really happens when you really carry a baby. Those things are not of concern to you, because it's just going to be a pretty photo shoot, or oh my goodness, my eyes, Q-tip. It's just going to be a pretty photo shoot, or oh, you get to whatever simulation that they'll make with these wombs that they're uh, trying to make. If that's real news, I still like to believe that it's not, but those type of things. And to the female that has now identified and transitioned to becoming a male, pick a side. Pick a side. Do you want us to respect you in that space, or do you want us to respect you in this space? Because I just can't understand or make sense of it, why you would want to say that you're a male and have the visual image of a male, and then you're with someone who is visually a female, but you're the one that goes on to carry the baby. I just don't understand that. I really don't. And I really don't understand how you think that that is not going to be emotionally traumatizing to women, especially the one that's had even one miscarriage, but a miscarriage, or had to have an abortion because of a medical reason or a health reason. I'm sorry, same thing. Um, or something that made them have to get it, and then they walk in and see somebody who does not look like a female happily pregnant, when they go in to see their OBGYN to find out why they can't. That is mentally impactful. Let me take this brace off. That's mentally impactful. I think that it is not okay. I think that a lot of things need to be thought out better, and there need to be some case studies and all of those things surrounding what the impact will be to a woman. Okay? I think that it really should. I think that we all should also need to reconsider even having um, being able to be pro-choice on anybody's ballot at all. Because here's the thing. When you do this, because what I want you to understand is that means that the harm of children is going to go up because you're forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do. The resources needed to take care of the kid, because some people do it because they are not able to afford and are not in the right place. Domestic violence is going to be impacted because with domestic violence, things are not logical. So there are women who are abused because they got themselves pregnant, and now the male is upset with her, or she was a secret and shouldn't have done it, and now that could ruin his family. So it's going to be a lot more first 48 situations. There's going to be homelessness that's impacted. There's going to be mental health. There's going to be public assistance. All of these things are going to derive from that. And then you're going to try to call the woman a deadbeat, or she could potentially get in trouble if anything happens. I want to know, with this, if this passes, and I believe it did on the first part, but if it really actually passes and this becomes a US-wide thing, one is too many, but it becomes a US-wide thing, and then people go back to doing illegal ones, which is what caused the ability to get an abortion safely, is because there were deaths surrounding abortions because they were being done illegally. And of course that is not safe and it's not healthy. So when those numbers go back up, who's gonna help with that? Because we already have young kids doing things that they shouldn't do. Let's just focus on the younger ones. We already have young kids doing things that they shouldn't do, and you don't think that they're going to Google and find the ways that people did it before? You don't think that? That's not even the adult decision ones. That's the kid ones. So when they figure out how to do this on their own and then really hurt themselves, who do we blame? Who do we blame? Because it's going to happen. I'm sure that there's still some that happen now out of being scared to tell parents or whatever the situation may be. So when this happens, what resources are going to be available to tackle these issues? In the same regard, when is there going to be a male birth control? Because a man can leave from her house, then go to her house, then go to her house, and impregnate multiple women in one day. So when is there going to be some liability placed on him? And if he does not pay child support, what are those repercussions going to look like? Because you got to make it stronger, because you just made it stronger for women. You just told us that we can't make the decision that's best for us. So you got to make sure that you hold the male equally accountable, because she doesn't get herself pregnant, right? So what about him? What's going to happen with him? Is he going to be equally responsible? I just want to know. If she can identify who the male is he going to be required to do a DNA test also, so that it don't have to be no guessing? How about that? Are you going to attach that to childbirth? I think that you should. In the event that the woman is attacked sexually, are you now going to take the rights away from the person who did it being able to have parental rights when they're released from their 2-day jail sentence? Because if not, I could tell you that's where the highest number is going to come from. Teenagers and victims. Because now what you're telling me is I have to face the person that changed my life for the rest of my life. I have to share my child with somebody who is a monster. Not only do you want me to keep it, but you want me to also interact with this person that changed my life and then the government didn't let me have a decision over what I wanted to do with the life that it created. I don't have a choice. So when you take all my choices away, what resources are you giving to me to ensure that I'm capable of carrying out what you told me I have to carry out? I just want to know. I just want to know. Because none of this literally makes any sense to me. Why do we have to continue to fight to make the choices that are best for our bodies, our situation, whatever it is? And I read something about being able to go before the courts and say, you know, what the issue is and blah, blah, blah. What the hell happened to HIPAA? What happened to HIPAA? And you mean to tell me you think it's okay for you to say that a solution is that the woman can go in front of strangers and explain what her situation is, and then it's all of a sudden okay? You know how humiliating that is, depending on what the thing is that the person needs to talk about? And people now barely communicate. Do you know what that's going to be like to get somebody to do that when all anybody wants to do now is text? But now we want people to go, or not people, we want women to have to go before a court for them to make a decision on if whatever it is that's the reason why she needs an exception for what she wants to do with her body is okay to leave it in somebody's hand. And are you going to be ready to deal with the fallout from that too, Mr. Politician? Or Mr. Person or Miss Person that doesn't think pro-choice should be an option? I'm just wondering. Because the laws are written here, all or none, right? What are we going to do to hold these males equally accountable? And when women start to want hysterectomies earlier and everything taken out, is that going to be covered by medical insurance? Because if you're telling me I'm doomed from the start and I'm somebody that's really afraid, because we have people that are really afraid of being sexually attacked, and now they want to just have everything taken out. They don't ever want to even run that risk. Just take everything out so I can live my life in peace. Are you going to do that? Are you going to say you have to have X amount of kids first? You have to be X age? Are you still going to control her body and tell her what to do with it then too? I just really want to know how much thought was put behind this, because it's just insane to me. And what's even more insane is we all know doggone well these politicians is probably hiding somebody somewhere who had to probably have one. I'm pretty sure. But you know, sometimes when people get they become elders, or their resources become different, so they can circumnavigate what everybody else has to do, or now they're in a different place. So I would never do that now. You know, of course you won't. Your womb has dust on it. Your decisions are going to be completely different now because you're out of that zone. You're out of that zone. But for those who are not, let's talk about that too, because people have started to sexually harass our elderly women. Does that elderly woman at 65, if she can still conceive, have to follow through with what just happened to her if she's violated? I mean, come on, do we really think this through? And why is it something that needs to even be thought through? I don't think that these are family issues. These are women's issues. I don't think that these are things that should even be on a ballot. We have bigger fish to fry and bigger things to deal with. If you want to put, I do understand, however, putting parameters around maybe how many you can have, because that then becomes a health issue, and it is not indeed to be used as birth control. So I do get that. I really, really do. Because I just get it. I get that one. And especially when it is paid for by like Planned Parenthood and things like that, I get it. But to totally take it off the ballot, do you know how much, or take it off the table of an option that you have? Do you know how much damage that's going to cause? Just even the mental damage, the hurting a household, making people, it will cause people to become poor. It will cause people to do things that they shouldn't do, taking matters into their own hands, either before at the beginning or, you know, after the baby gets here. I think that we just need to really start thinking about, I would like for you all that are making these decisions, you all that support these things, as far as what you identify as and different experiences you want to have with that particular topic. I just ask that you think more clearly and inclusive, right? Because you're not thinking inclusive. You're thinking, this is what I want for me, and so I think it should happen. Or I have a friend who is this and talked about wanting this, so I believe in it too, just because my friend is going to want to do this later. Okay, that's great. But what I would like for you to also think is, downstream, who is this going to impact? On the front end, who is this going to impact? What can we also do while we're doing these things to make things better for a woman who is born and cannot conceive, or implementing mental health resources for after you have a child to be included, rather the woman says she needs it or not, because sometimes people don't know, women are not aware that what they're going through is a part of postpartum or caused by childbirth. There's not enough education on it. There's not enough emphasis on it. It's almost just left out there like it doesn't exist. And it is a big thing, and it is something that a woman should be handheld through. So, you know, those type of things. What is out there for us? Since you want to inflate the world with children, ensure that who you are making do it is taken care of, and the other party that was involved in the oohing and ahhing and tootsie rolling naked is held equally as accountable for everything that happens, and create some type of plan where all have to be included and held accountable. And I don't just mean money, because that may not be what that mother needs. That mother might need to ensure that she actually has support. So if you are married and your husband gets somebody pregnant, you don't get to just put her to the side and pay her. If she needs the help, he got to be equally as responsible for doing it. Perhaps if we put some more controls in place, since, I mean, if we're going to do it, we have to do it, right? If you're going to do it, do it. So put controls in place that would possibly limit the number of, let's just call it infractions that occur, right? Because you don't want to be held accountable. You don't want to be called out. You don't want anybody to know. And you know now that this is not something that can be behind the scenes. You know now that if you cheat and a baby is a result, woman or man, the end result is going to be that everybody's going to know, because now this is going to be one heck of a blended family, because you have to include that spouse. I'm sorry, that the mistress or the mistrerer. Is that a word? It is now. Or the mistrerer, because they're equally as responsible, right? Just think that if you're going to tell me what to do with my poor little pussycat who has no choice, I think that you should also include being able to tell Mr. Dandelion what to do with his danger zone. How about that? And at the end of the day, for me, what's most important is that women's rights are respected. We work on finalizing some of these things and then getting them off of ballots and off of having to be renewed every X years. Just take them off completely, because I shouldn't have to fight for my pussycat every couple years. I just shouldn't. It shouldn't even be anything that we talk about if you're not talking about how to implement more resources in healthcare to help me to pay for it and get the different things that I need for it. I don't think that it should be included. I think that we should leave it off. Just like, what do they say? Church and state don't belong together. Some weird stuff they say. And church don't belong in the schools and all this other stuff. But you could tell me that a politician belongs between my legs? First of all, no. Okay? Second, first of all, neither does anybody that I say that don't belong there. How about that? We have a right to say no. No means no, Mr. Politician. And Miss Politician, who is going along with the majority so she can have friends, or because this will not impact her and she doesn't use her little brain to think outside of the box, that I don't care what type of family you have, there is a female in your family. And when you have somebody in your family that's impacted, oh, how the roles change. There's an episode, I'll close with this. There's an episode of Blacklist. In case y'all didn't know, I love Blacklist. I watched it like 32 times. Yeah. An episode of Blacklist, and men was coming up missing and then returning with a scar on their stomach, and they would go away for a while, right? So the African American guy that came back, he's the one who cracked the code on what the blacklister was doing. So the blacklister was kidnapping politicians, doctors, all of the people that, you know, voted for not being pro-choice, and then putting the womb in them, the males, and impregnating them, and then dropping them back off. Well, the African-American one had his baby. He was a pastor too. Had his baby, you know, the confess your sins, move forward with whatever, and he had his baby because there is no female, right? And then there was the other one, a Caucasian male who was up for elections and all of that, and have been picked up, and they was looking for him. Well, when they found him, he had the scar or whatever, and he didn't want to tell her because he was embarrassed. And you got kidnapped. You don't know what happened. You just popped back up pregnant. So he's sick and all this stuff. Anyway, he finds out that he's pregnant, and he tries to go to the doctor to get an abortion. And the doctor was like, you should know, you voted on this, you wrote this, I can't do this, it's illegal. If I do this, you know that you could go to jail, and I can go to jail too. He was like, I don't care, I want it out anyway. So he ends up doing it and getting it taken out with a woman that was a blacklister, somebody who was a college student pre-med and was sexually attacked by a male, obviously, but a male who either worked on the campus, somehow involved, but from jail, he sued for paternal rights. And so she had to have her daughter. And when he got out, he really came around like, you know, obviously an attacker, they want that control or whatever. That gave him another stream of control. So he came out wanting control. He wanted custody of his daughter and all this other stuff. So now every day you're having to look at the person who hurt you and changed your life. She ended up going to jail. She went to jail for something. So she captured him in the bottom part of her house. And the way that these men would get impregnated was with his sperm. That's what she needed him for. His sperm, and I think her eggs or something like that. Child, people be crazy. That's why I'm telling you, things you do leads to people being crazy because they feel like they don't have no choice. And when you backed in the corner, the worst thing anybody, but specifically these days, a woman can feel like is that she doesn't have a choice. And her choice was taken away from her. And she was put in jail and got in trouble for something that had to do with it. But that's what she did to the males. And so she wanted them to feel what it's like to have your choice taken away. And male or female, the doctors could not remove the baby. But of course, the politician paid a lot of money for it to happen. Y'all should watch that Blacklist. Paid a lot of money for it to happen. Didn't care. I know about it. I wrote it. Sir, why you got an attitude? Ain't that what... I'm just saying. People is okay with stuff as long as it don't impact them. I'm just saying. People that don't care. Let's just say that. People that don't care. But yeah, so that's how that Blacklist went. So I'm just saying, I think that people need to take a bigger look at what you are putting on our plates as women and stop thinking about this in a way that you don't see how it impacts you, so it's not a big deal, because this is going to impact the world. And historically it clearly has, because that is the reason why the law was lifted, to be able to do them in the first place, because it was more beneficial to be able to have it in a controlled environment, safe, etc., than to continue to take the rights away of women and men, and forcing them into something that is not what they want to do, and potentially could harm them in a way that they don't want to explain to you. Okay, so I'm not really sure how it keeps popping up, but that is what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about women's rights being respected, women's bodies being respected, us not having to do a PowerPoint to go to the bathroom, us not having to do an entire presentation and tell the entire world our business in order for what we need to be recognized. We are entitled to our privacy. And if we are not, then everything that goes along with it should also be included. And that means to ensure that while we are standing there explaining, that male has to be there. So if he needs to get dragged into court so that she can say, I don't want to do this, and I feel like I shouldn't have to because this male did this, then I think that it should be included. Which, by the way, being sexually abused wasn't one of the things that I saw listed on why you would be approved to not follow through with carrying the seed of your attacker. That is like, that just reminds me of some plantation type ish. And I just really want to know, when are we going to get away from that behavior? Why do males feel like they need to have control over things that involve women? You have so many things that you could focus on, and so many areas that you could work on changing, that also provide controversy, that also provide, you know, history, because I think that a lot of these things are done for attention. I really do, or for that lawmaker to be a big deal, or that particular year. I think it's for that reason. And for that, I think that you're absolutely sick, because it's so much that could be changed, starting with protecting our babies on school campuses, or, you know, not letting an 18-year-old buy a missile, or, you know, just things like that. There's other things that can be done in your spare time other than bullying women and wanting to be able to tell us what to do with our bodies as it relates to bringing forth life. So, that being said, I am going to end for today. Thank you for tuning in with me. I look forward to our live on Friday, and then I'll have a part 2 up on, no, actually I want to go light on, what is it, Tuesday? On Tuesday. So I'll have another topic. Y'all know I've been watching my African movies, and I'm telling you, I got a lot of footage. I worked on all editing last night, and this stuff is good. I'm just saying. Okay. So that is it for tonight. I want you all to have a great night. Have a safe summer. Start off. The cases are up, so everybody be safe in what you're doing. Still follow all of the health guidelines and things like that. See, that's what they could be focusing on as well. Have a wonderful evening. I appreciate all of your support, all of the comments, all the feedback, all the love, all the everything. If you would like to be on the show, the email address is below. Also, last thing I promise, the Adult Prom Gala in Chino Hills, California is happening. Tickets are on sale. You can get an entire table and show up and show out with your entire party. I had somebody ask if they can have their birthday party there. Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. And if you are getting a table because you want to have your birthday party there, please make sure to let me know, so that if you know me, I'm going to do something. But we're going to make sure that we celebrate and appreciate you for your birthday. So make sure that you tell us if you're getting a table for that, or even if you're just coming in as your birthday. So good night, my Crown Royals, and have a wonderful evening. That was so Barbara Walters. Bye, y'all.
The Roaring 20. The Roaring 20. The Roaring 20.